Thank you so much for joining us, Big Lou and Belle. How are you?
Doing great.
Are you feeling elevated today?
Of course, motivated.
Nothing like a little wake and bake, right? Belle, I'll start with you. Belle, please tell us about who you are and what it is that you do.
So hi everyone, I'm Belle. Yeah, my name came about in a funny way, but I actually work with mental health. I'm working alongside with even it could be individual, couple, or family dealing with domestic violence, high-risk domestic violence, and a little bit of human trafficking. So with that said, I like to explore a little bit of the cannabis, okay? And part of it, that's also taking care of my own mental health and thinking about self-care. So that's how I approach it,
Can you
through
speak
a
a little
self-care.
bit more about mental health and cannabis?
So mental health and cannabis. So one of the things I will say that I can't diagnose you or tell you, hey, go take this, right? I will encourage you to talk to your doctor about it, your family physician, as in they will be the one who will be able to tell you more about your body.
Yeah.
But when it comes to mental health and cannabis, it's not something that I say, no, I'm not I'm against it, I'm actually for it.
I see.
Just because based on what I hear, I do need an outlet sometimes. And part of it is I can't go share that confidential information with other people. So I do take it as a way of also soothing myself.
Yes.
So if I have a client or any of my friends or family who's open to actually talking about how does cannabis help me with my own mental health, then we can talk about in terms of what it does for me. One, it creates an outlet. So is that something that you're thinking about trying? If you are, once again, I would highly recommend talking to your doctor because we have to know what's our mental health issue that you are currently facing to know what is the right type of cannabis. So any type of support that you're going to need to help you to deal with it.
Absolutely, that's really great. It's an important point because I do know that people that have schizophrenia and things like that, for any type of real personality disorder, I've heard that that's not necessarily the best ingredient that you should be producing in your body.
Exactly, because
right?
as we know what that can do for us,
Yeah,
and we
it
talk
can-
about the paranoia pieces of smoking cannabis too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or ingested it.
Right. Okay, well, we're not here for that conversation. How is it that sex is, sex? You see where I'm at? I'm already there. This is probably part of my problem. Nobody judge me. Okay? I don't want.
Safe space.
This is a safe
Yes.
space.
Yes.
Yes. So sex. I mean cannabis. Do you participate in cannabis and sex ever?
Yes, I do.
Do you ever do it sober anymore? Because I don't.
To be honest, I'm going to be honest with you. The only way that sober can happen, it has to be like first thing in the morning. Wake me up for it.
Yeah, before you get the.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's the only way. But if we're talking about once I get off my bed,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, got you. Do you endorse this Donna?
You know what? As you know, I've never tried it. So for me, because where I am, sex morning, noon, and night is fine, and I don't need it. But with that being said, I am open because I've heard so many wonderful things about it. I am open, but yeah. So one of these days, I'm going to be
One
brave
of
enough
these
to do
days.
it.
And you'll be able to know, some people are smokers. Some people like the edible part of it. Some people like the lube part of it. So you got to find your zone. There's different ways to consume
I
this.
did try the edible, but all it made me do was feel dizzy, and I went straight to bed. So I don't know if I didn't eat enough. I think I took a bite of it, and I was like, "This is making me dizzy," and I went to bed.
Oh no!
I went to
See,
sleep.
that's why next time we're gonna send you a love package from the Heightened Chef, and then you'll be all
bring
right.
it. I'll take it.
Yes, not to worry.
Take care of you in the best way.
Yes, Big Lou, it's nice to have you back on Late Night Cocktails. How are you?
Good, thank
You
you
look
for
high
having
as shit, my friend. How are you?
I came ready,
I like it.
Just had to prep my munchie feelings to give a good talk about munchies.
So tell me, what do you like to smoke on a nice day like today?
My favorite strain is Blue Dream.
Okay.
I wrote about 10 songs when I smoked that. So I don't know, it's something about it. Is it a sativa dominant hybrid?
It is.
Yeah. So it gives that indica feeling of like not too much of I just want to be in the couch, but just like relax my shoulders a bit, and then still with the sativa, the creativity now heightens in, and then
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Okay, okay. Well, there are wonderful stories about sex, but there's sometimes a horror story about sex, about cannabis. I can't get the sex and the cannabis.
They can hang together.
You know what? Because they're so Listen, they are the same for me. This is probably part of the problem.
That's why I made a song. I like my kush.
I know. There you go. Okay, so what I want to know is there are sometimes cases where you might smoke the wrong strain and you end up with something called cotton mouth. Now, cotton mouth refers to that feeling of dryness that smoking can induce. THC, the active ingredient in cannabis, can actually block the glands that produce saliva. So, of course, that symptom can usually be remedied with a tall glass of water. I heard taking lemon drops is good. But the mouth isn't the only place on the body that lacks moisture after smoking. Cotton vagina, as it turns out, is also very much a real thing. And as anyone knows, dry sex is most definitely not good. So remind us that there are lubes on the market. Like, what can we do? Do you know of any of the lubes, Donna? Do you sell some yourself?
Actually, it's so funny we're talking. So I sent my sister to get me some lube and stuff, and she brought me this. It's a hemp seed massage oil.
Okay.
You know, it's so fun. I've been carrying this and selling this like crazy, and I'm thinking, hemp is weed, isn't it?
Yes, but it doesn't have there's no psycho properties.
It's like a distant cousin.
It's like a distant cousin.
But
Yeah.
to say all of that to say, lube is a phenomenal thing, even without that dry or cotton vagina, as you mentioned. With lube, it makes things work so much easier because you have some persons who excrete wetness, but with a little bit of lube, it helps, and it even heightens the penetration.
Let's ask some of the men that have the member that we're talking about here. Now, I've always wanted to ask questions of men that I get the opportunity to ask now, so I'm not holding back. The people are depending on me to ask these questions, okay? The people need to know. So I don't know which one of you are going to answer this question, but I do definitely want to know. So when you are about to penetrate a woman, right? I know you. I gave pause to give you a second to go back to a time where you were about to penetrate a woman, so that you're there fully. Okay, so you're there. See, I see Big Lou. You went up into the clouds there. I know you're there now. Yeah, he's there. Okay, so what we want to know, right, is when you're about to penetrate her and she's having cotton. You recognize that there's a dryness happening. There's a cotton vagina. I see the tongue came out, so I might see the remedy that Big Lou uses.
I get where he's going. I get where he's going. But if you both smoked, that probably might not work either.
That tongue is dry too.
Your tongue is dry. Sandpaper on sandpaper can't go on.
No. Okay. So you're about to penetrate. Does it also though when it's drier? A lot of women I've heard think that drier means tighter. And so they, look at the heads. No, definitely no. All of the heads are shaking.
No.
So they think that, it's dry, so maybe it's going to be harder to go in, which makes him think that it's tighter.
No.
And he's like, girl, I need to either go down on you, get some lube, or spit on that shit because this isn't going to happen if we don't.
Yeah.
That's the case. Okay.
And it will ruin the vibe very quickly. Like if you can't get that initial thing to go right away, you might not be as interested anymore. So you might lose your erection.
Like,
so it's much better for everything to be nice and slippery and lubed and right to go. So
it hurt you guys too, doesn't it?
A little bit. It does.
Especially if you get a little too wetness, you get some rubber. It ain't fun.
Yeah, it's not fun. It does hurt. It's not the funnest thing.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun now that I think about it. So okay, lube is where we're all going. Let's get some lube. I want to be like Oprah and say like, you get lube, you get lube, you get a lube. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to know a story from one of you. Belle, do you have a cocktail that tells me about some cotton vagina or some cotton mouth?
Oh, yeah, I can tell you a story.
Yeah, tell me. I love a cocktail. This is why we're here.
Since we're talking about the cotton mouth and the fellas have already approached that, let's talk about cotton vagina.
Yes, can we?
Yes, we can. So like you rightfully say, cotton vagina is very much likely to occur when you smoke, right? And part of this is that I have experienced it. And the first time I experienced it, I'm like, what is going on? Right? I'm like, no, that can't be happening to me. This thing is always like a shower. Like, no, what's going on? Like what? Is it like, is this early stages that's telling me when I get older, like, nah, what's going on? What's gonna happen? Like, in terms of what's gonna happen to me. So I'm like, okay, let's look more into it. And that's when I introduced Loop to myself. Right?
Introduce it to yourself.
I introduced it to myself. It's to myself because I feel that I control my pleasure.
Absolutely.
Right? So I need to know what I need for my pleasure. And just like the fellas were saying, it's better when it's very slippery.
Yes.
You understand?
When it's wetter.
No, seriously, because even for a woman, I enjoy it more because when that cotton pussy happened, literally,
She was crying. It's like the pussy was crying.
Yes, get off me.
Oh,
no,
no.
go. I need water. Like, what's going on?
Oh, no.
So it really wasn't a fun experience. And for me, I know, well, sometimes people say, you spit.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
To have a man spit on your vagina before he
Yeah.
enters you. Donna, tell me about that, please. Like,
Each his own. I like it.
You see, some people like
I don't know about it. So tell me, does the man actually like just,
The spit.
he just spits on you?
Just drop it right there.
And then he
There's
uses
there's
his penis
nothing
to...
wrong with it, but they're saying again, we have to be careful. You know, it's excretion, it's spit entering you, but I like it. And a lot of women do like it.
It makes you feel weird.
So that is the point that I'm saying that it makes it feel weird for me because then I think about what are you eating? Did you brush your teeth before?
Listen, those are real facts.
No, because once again, once you spit there, that stuff is going inside of me.
I mean,
Oh,
if
yes.
he's eating properly, spit's getting in there anyways.
Yes, that's true. But I'm saying I need to know. So that's why I say it's a little bit still
So everybody
weird.
just has a couple Listerine beforehand.
Yeah,
right.
and I think cannabis is a really great way to, enhance sexual pleasure.
For sure.
As much as that cotton vagina, because there's some strains, I never had it because I go to a place where I can ask very specific questions and I know what I'm looking for. So I've always been very fortunate to be the complete opposite because
Right.
there are strains that are actually like the fountain of youth. Yes, I will hook you up later.
I was just about to say, like, you need to give me that hookup. Yes, fountain of youth.
Yes, absolutely. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that although there are some strains that might be a predominant side effect, there are still some excellent strains that I've tried that do give you that cottonmouth pasty kind of feeling, but it's still the other effects that you receive from it balance it out.
Yeah,
you know what I
just got to
mean?
be prepared. You get a no wet spot blanket when you know you're a squirter. You get the right lemon drops when you know
Right.
you're going to get cotton mouth. You have the
Right.
water. It's like having a picnic.
Yeah, you got to have all the right tools.
You got to
gotta
have
all the
everything
right
there
tools.
to
Exactly.
enjoy the munchies.
Yes.
Either you're eating it or you're eating it. You understand?
Trust me. You know what's funny? One of my favorite lubes, like I've tried a lot of different lubes. Lube is my friend.
Okay.
I've tried the water-based ones. I've tried the silicone-based ones. But you know what I ended up finding, and I use it all up to now for a long time, my favorite one is coconut oil. Just straight up coconut oil. It smells delicious. It's edible. It works well. Like after a lot of friction, it doesn't break down. That's why I don't mind spit, but I find after a while spit dries up and it gets sticky.
Yes, because
You know
you're smoking too, most likely.
Right, but even just regular spit,
Yeah.
it will dry up saliva. Saliva has stuff in it to help break down food, so it breaks down eventually. But the coconut oil lasts a little bit longer. It doesn't last forever,
Yes.
which is also good. You don't
Yeah,
want it to be slippery
exactly.
forever. I don't want to take a pee and try and misfire. But
control it.
I'm saying coconut oil, that's my favorite, and
That's
it's
a
so
great
natural.
tip.
It's so natural.
That is a very good tip. I think that is just the tip right there. I love it. I love that.
And just thinking about coconut oil in the fact that it nourishes the body too and the skin. So
Yes.
even that, thinking about that self-care after sex, you're actually incorporating it during sex.
Yes.
Absolutely, that's amazing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
another cool thing also, just to keep tying it into cannabis and stuff, is that coconut oil is the preferred infusion for cannabis because coconut oil has one of the highest fat contents of all oils. So when
Okay.
most people are trying to do infusions with cannabis, they use coconut oil because
Okay.
it absorbs the most THC.
That's great. So when we come back, we're going to be talking about Pandora's Box, and I want to know what you guys have brought for me to have this
we got
discussion.
goodies.
Donna, you have something you want to throw in there when we get back to you?
There
Okay,
we go.
I'm coming to
BJ
you
will
first
ask.
when we get back.
I'm interested.
Okay.
I'm already interested.
We'll be right back.